Tim went vegan in 2012, and most recently he confessed in a YouTube video that he ate wild-caught salmon and raw eggs to help his health problems.
This came as a shock to many and also not as a shock to some.
Yeah.
Would that be fair to say?
I think it would be fair to say, and the some meaning us.
Yeah.
We weren't shocked to hear this news from Tim.
And we'll explain a little bit more about why we weren't shocked as we go through this episode.
We sure will. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of people asked us to make a response to this, and to be honest with you, we were quite reluctant.
There was a lot of hesitation, wasn't there?
There was. I mean, I think this is a very delicate topic. It's a sensitive issue.
Yeah, two good words.
And Tim has done a lot for the vegan community.
A lot. Like
Yes.
He's got hundreds of thousands of followers around the world.
Absolutely.
His athletic abilities and talents are just incredible, awe-inspiring. I mean, we've been in awe of them for years, ever since we first came across him on YouTube many years ago.
I so want to do what he can do.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Amazing. Do you remember those sun salutations that he did on the rooftop in Santorini? That video?
Gorgeous.
How many times did we share that with people?
Yeah.
And he's always had a very strong message for the animals too.
Yeah, he has.
He constantly has referred to the animals and veganism in that context for years.
Yes, and so hence our reluctance to talk about this, but I think there's a way to do it where we're going to be very respectful of Tim. But I think that this issue shouldn't be ignored just because we don't want to,
Yeah, because there are some...
You know what I'm trying to say?
I do know what you're trying to say. There are also some ramifications to what Tim has done that kind of do need to be spoken about, don't they?
That's right.
And many other people have already spoken out about Tim's situation on social media, haven't
a lot
they?
of videos have been made. We've watched a few of them briefly, but not all of them. So anyhow, we're going to talk about it now. But what we are going to do is we're going to talk about a lot of this from our personal perspective and experience as well, because we can very much relate to Tim, where he's at, what he's done. And I think when you bring it back to, our story and our experience, we can see a lot of parallels,
similarities.
Exactly. And I think that makes it easier to kind of understand when you're hearing it from someone else's story as well. Definitely. So we're going to keep it in that context.
And it is important to discuss also because we mentioned that Tim has such a large global audience. He influences a lot of people.
Yeah.
And some people might be confused by this situation, and they might look up to Tim and they might see that perhaps he's given a potential green light for others to do the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's like, if someone like Tim, who is the most amazing athlete out there, well, not the most, but, one of the most amazing athletes that we can think of, certainly within the vegan community, if he is so desperate for good health, despite being able to do all these amazing things with his body, then, as you said, does that kind of give the green light for the average person who may be struggling with their health to go, well, Tim ate a few eggs and some salmon, so maybe I should try that too.
Yeah.
So that's the danger. That's where our alarm bells went off and went, oh no. What are other people, especially those who are following Tim, who are fans of his and looking up to him, what are they going to think and potentially do?
And we had one mutual follower, don't we, who messaged us and, was expressing some shock and sadness, as many of Tim's fans have done. He said that you guys, us and Tim, were his main knowledge references to go vegan. So,
and I feel a great sadness for those people who were influenced to go vegan because of Tim, and then to hear this news all these years later, it's kind of like, what? Imagine if Gary Yourofsky. Not that it would ever happen, but just imagine if Gary had turned around and said, I've had some health problems and I'm just going to have a few eggs to see how I go. It's like, Gary, what? Our whole world would crumble.
Our minds would be blown, our hearts would be broken.
So the first thing we wanted to talk about was the fact that we actually met Tim just recently this year.
Yeah, it was at the end of August at the UK Vegan Campout.
Yes.
And he was manning his clothing stall.
Yes, his ethics store. And as we said, we've been following Tim for quite a while, watching him online. We haven't had much contact with him. I think he's left a few comments on our channel and vice versa. But this was the first time that we met him. We gave him a good hug, and
I just remember thanking him for all the work that he's done for animals. That's what I said to him, because ultimately that's what counts to us the most. And, I wanted to thank him for that.
And having said that, we walked away thinking things aren't great. We walked away, and the word that came to mind was he's spacey.
Yeah, he was a little spacey.
Just kind of, spacey.
Yeah.
Distant, not present, not kind of spacey.
Yeah, he didn't come across as quite very sharp.
Not sharp, not energetic.
No.
Nothing.
And this was in contrast to how we've seen Tim appear in his videos over the years. You know, we've probably been